Are you a parent heading to your first IEP meeting for your child? Then you've come to the right place. Special education is so hard to navigate, especially when there's so much riding on that very first meeting. Don't stress, I'm gonna walk you through it. That's why inside this video, I'm gonna take you behind the scenes when it comes to your first IEP, so you know what to do and how to prepare with 5 easy tips, so you can advocate like a pro. Hey, what's up? I'm April Rarick, your special education advocate to make IEPs and 504 plans so much easier. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to get more tips like this in your inbox, and follow us on Instagram at RiseEdAdvocacy. Here's what you need to know about IEP meetings. Individual education plans, sometimes known as programs, also known as IEPs, are regulated under IDEA law. The problem with special education is when you go to your very first IEP meeting, more than likely everybody else on your team has been to this type of meeting before, 10 times, 20 times, 30 times. Translation: everybody else has a playbook and knows what to ask for and how to get it except for you. Don't stress. I'm going to walk you through it. That's exactly why when you keep watching this video, I'm going to give you all of my tips and resources. Are you ready to get started? Let's dig in. Tip 1, come prepared to your first IEP. Here's the deal. We already talked about that you're going to feel overwhelmed and that everyone else has the playbook except for you. The deal is, it doesn't have to be like that. You can prepare. You don't want to go in there solo. You don't want to go in there cold because everyone else has so much experience. And I know, like you know, that you've been working so hard to try to get the IEP process started and to try to get your child evaluated. It's just a fact. It doesn't have to be like this. That's why you want to come into your first IEP prepared. So here's something you may not know. Pro tip: your first IEP meeting may not actually be an IEP. It could more than likely be called what's called an eligibility meeting, or what's called an ETR. This means that before your child can get their first IEP, they need to qualify for special education services. So how do you know this? You don't. That's exactly why you need to know something called the special education cycle. Check out my first free guide that gives you a map so that you can navigate where you are and where you need to go, because there's a ton of steps when it comes to the special education process, and I want to give them all to you so you know what to expect before you walk into that door. Make sure to grab that link in the description box below. So now you know that you need to prepare before you walk into your child's first IEP meeting. Let's take a step further. You understand now that we've been talking about an eligibility meeting, or what's called an ETR. But what about the special education process? I've crafted a whole set of videos just for you about special education that shows you where you are, where you need to go, and the entire process mapped out for you. So before you walk into that first IEP meeting, you can feel so much better because you know what to ask for and how to get it, and you're not going to walk in on the fly. Make sure to grab that link in the description box below. So now you know before you walk into that door, you have to be prepared. This brings us to tip 2, get draft special education assessment reports. Here's the deal. Like I was talking about earlier, you're going to be sitting at what's called an eligibility or an ETR meeting. Unless you're lucky enough that you live in a state where they give it to you before the meeting, or you know to ask, you're going to be getting a ton of reports. They could be 20 pages, 30 pages long. All of that your team is going to be talking about, as well as the deficits, it's just the truth, at the eligibility meeting. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to be emotional. It's going to be frustrating. How can you prepare if you've never seen it before? Here's the deal. Pro tip. You can request drafts. you can get a chance to preview the information, understanding it's a draft, and I'm going to show you how to do it in the next step. It is a game changer for your first IEP, and it makes your eligibility and ETR meeting so much easier. Yay! So now you know you need to prepare, and you're going to get those draft reports. This brings us to tip 3. Submit written input and respond to the IEP meeting notice. Here's the deal. When your special education team gives you things, they need to give it to you in writing. And as parents, you can meaningfully participate at the table and you can respond in writing. That way, when you walk into your very first IEP meeting, you're not flustered, you're not trying to take notes because you've submitted all of this before the meeting and you can actually attach it to the IEP. It's one of the most powerful things that you can know as a parent. So let me ask you something. Do you know what an IEP meeting looks like? Do you know what an IEP is supposed to do? Most of the time, us parents don't, because again, we're not given the playbook. That's exactly why I want you to check out my video playlist, What is an IEP and what does it look like, that goes through every single part of the IEP with a ton of videos. So when your team shows you that paperwork, and if your child qualifies and is eligible, you know how to read it and it's not stressful. Make sure to grab that link in the description box below. So we talked about responding to the notice and submitting your input. What do you say in the letter? How do you do it? This is exactly why I'm so excited to show you. I have a fillable IEP meeting request template. Inside the template, it walks you through how to request for draft reports, how to tell your team what type of meeting you would like, what providers you would like to come at the meeting, what are your concerns, submitting your input. And the beauty of it is it gives you drop-in fillable information so that you can respond to your team. You walk in and you're like, yeah, I already asked for that and I submitted everything in writing, and you attach it to your child's record like I talked about earlier. It's one of the most powerful templates that my families love, and I want to give you everything so that you can make your journey so much easier. Grab that link in the description box below. So let's do a quick recap. Tip 1 is talking about you need to prep before you go in the door. Tip 2 has to do with getting those drafts. Tip 3, you're going to submit that response and you're going to submit your input. Now it's time for meeting day. But what's supposed to happen in an IEP meeting? Because pro tip, there's actually an order or a sequence for when things happen, whether it's an eligibility or the actual IEP meeting. That's why I want you to check out my video about an IEP meeting in terms of what happens and when, with 4 secrets, so that when you walk in the door, you're like, yeah, okay, I know it's supposed to happen at the meeting, and it's not a shock or a surprise, and you know the order of everything that I talked about. So make sure to grab that link in the description box below. This brings us to tip 4, learn to read your IEP. What am I talking about? I'm talking about that typically an IEP document, even at the eligibility meeting, it's going to be 30, 40, or 50 pages, and your team is going to go over it very quickly. And here's the problem. You're going to leave the meeting or the eligibility meeting, and you're like, wait, what did I agree to? That's not what we talked about. Oh my gosh. What does it all mean? That's exactly why I created a do-it-yourself one-day IEP meetings workshop just for families. And it walks you through all the different parts of an IEP meeting, how to read it, how to read present levels, how to develop goals, how to read your reports, and most importantly, how to meaningfully participate. So when you walk into your child's very first IEP meeting, you're like, yep, I know what that means. I know what that means. I know exactly how to participate. It makes your journey easier and it helps you pull up a seat at that IEP table. Make sure to grab that link in the description box below. So now you've gotten all of these 4 tips, but we're going to talk about the very last one that is so important. This brings us to tip 5, get IEP support and help for your child. What am I talking about? I'm talking about that more than likely you've worked so hard to get to this very first IEP meeting. And probably more than likely, your child has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 more years of school. That's going to mean 10 more years of IEPs, 10 more years of reading IEP documents. So you don't want to do it alone. I'm not talking about just hiring a special education advocate. I totally understand that for many families, this is crazy. What am I talking about? I'm talking about joining free support groups, talking about finding more information online, joining us at Rise where you can get free information and tips every day, and most importantly, finding your tribe. What am I talking about when I say finding your tribe? Did you think about this? More than likely in your child's class in the school, there's going to be so many other families that have children with IEPs too. Find out who that is and talk to them and feel better and go with them so that you feel like you're with your people, because they're going to get it and you don't want to go into an IEP meeting alone. Speaking of IEPs, who can you bring to an IEP? You can bring a neighbor. You can bring a friend. If your child works with someone privately, invite them. You can have people write letters on your behalf, like progress reports or statements when it comes to private OT or PT. Oh my goodness, you do not have to navigate this process alone. And I want you to know that it's going to make it better. And let's make things so much easier for you at the table, because this is a journey. Like I talked about earlier, this is not a one and done IEP meeting, and you can make things better. It's all about your approach. So now you know what to do and how to prepare with those 5 easy tips. Do you have a question? Make sure to put it in the comments below so that I can explain things to make it easier. Do you want me to do more videos or expand on more what I've talked about? Yep, put it there too. Like and subscribe to get more videos in your inbox like this every week. And check us out on Instagram at Rise Ed Advocacy. Get all those links in the description box below so that you can make your child's very first IEP meeting so much better. I'm April Rarig, your special education advocate. I can't wait to see you for our next video.